my app said, like, feels like it's 8. I'm like, it feels terrible.
You have to know their every move. You have to know exactly what they're doing, when they're moving, where they're going, what they're doing. Like, you just have to know.
Same thing. Like, they do not want to expose themselves, and that's why they're big.
And it turns out he didn't get any of that, and it went in and missed everything and then went to the front shoulder. Well, hey, everyone out there. Welcome to another Addicted Hunting podcast. And it feels like it's been a while since we recorded one. We've been hunting.
Yeah, we've been busy.
In a few weeks, that's for sure.
We've been trying to kill things.
A lot of things has happened in the time.
Yeah. It has. And that's what we're going to talk about today, guys. So today's episode is going to be focused on whitetail hunting. Something that's I have been extremely, I don't know, I would say honestly addicted to the last 4 years. Like, not trying to make, no pun intended, but literally have been addicted to whitetail hunting, and was blessed enough to get John out there last year, and then we got Cliff out there this year. So we have a lease in Ohio that one of my buddies, John West, invited me out to, I think 4 years ago, and it's epic.
It's
crazy.
Yeah.
It's just different. It's so much different than anything we really do around here.
Yeah. And you know, to be like, when I first started thinking about it, like when John first invited me, I was kind of like, whitetail are so lame. That's kind of what I was thinking about.
Go sit in a tree stand.
Exactly.
Just go sit in a tree stand, and like, dude, I'm telling you what, like, there ain't very many animals that get my heart thumping like those things do. Because they're just so like, they're way harder to hunt.
Yeah.
They're way harder to hunt, and you got to everything has to fall in line perfectly.
Yep. Yeah. No, this is a hunt that I mean, when you're talking out here, we do our spot and stalk. You know, we get a lot of swirling winds and stuff like that. But for most of the hunting that we do, we're on foot. We're moving. So it's like that's this constant. You're monitoring the wind. I'm not used to, like, I mean, sitting in a stand, having the wind, like, all of a sudden you're like, oh, dude, it's all set up. And I will tell you, like, those wind apps, they don't do you. They give you your predominant wind. That's it. But when you get down, like, in any of those little draws, no, dude, it was terrible. You're sitting there, you're like, okay, the wind's good. Like, it's just starting to get light. And then all of a sudden,
that screwed me a few times.
This sucks. Yeah. So it's. I mean, there's skill, I would definitely say, and there's a learning curve that I already know that I'm years and years and years behind on.
For sure.
But I think moving forward,
that's what makes it fun.
A lot of learning this year for sure. Like, specifically for me.
Oh yeah, for me too.
I think
a ton of learning for me.
Yeah.
I think, like, just being a spot and stalk hunter, like, kind of tapping off on what you were saying, like, it was more mentally challenging for me, like, because I'm so used to, like you said, we're spot and stalking out here, we're moving. Like, the mental game of sitting in that stand, I don't know how many times in my head when I was sitting there, I was like, one more hour. I'll sit here one more hour, and then it's like that hour came up, and I had really terrible boots on, so it was cold.
Yeah.
It ended up, the weather did a little switcheroo on us. It snowed, got cold. What was it, like 15 one morning or something like that?
My app said, like, feels like it's 8. I'm like, it feels terrible.
Yeah.
Dude, I wore every layer that I brought with me.
And it was just like a big, mentally straining for me just to sit there and just power through, be like, one more hour. And then the hour would get up, and I'm like, okay, I can sit here for another hour and just like.
Well, and the thing that drives me is, like, you know, we'll get into the hunt a little bit more later in the episode and talk about kind of all the experiences that we had. But, like, just know we're in a county in Ohio that is known for, like,
big
monster
giants. Yeah.
And the ones that we have on our cameras, and the ones that we've seen on the neighbors' properties, and the ones that our buddies have on cameras, it's just like, I'll sit all day for the chance.
The one you saw.
One of those.
Yeah.
Like, there's just something about it. And whitetail, like, all their antlers are so unique.
Every single one.
They're so unique. Like, you look at all our trail cam pictures, and it's like, they're just like a lot of blacktail deer.
Yeah.
They all look the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you how many forking horns I have with 3 points that are like...
just the little basket.
They're all the same. They're all the exact same. Whitetail don't seem to be like that, like, especially when they get more mature.
Yeah.
But, like, I think, like, to kind of start it off, like, we start our season before the season, you know, by going out there.
Yeah, so talk about that, because we didn't get to do that.
Yeah, these guys didn't get to go, but me and a few of the other guys in the group, we went out in August, I think it was. And we have 3 food plots that we planted, 16 tree stands that we had to clear trails and whatnot for and make sure they were kosher to sit in, 4 blinds. That's what prepares you for success on these things.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work for a couple guys too.
I mean, if there's a key ingredient to getting a buck, it's start your season as soon as the last one.
Yeah.
Preparing. I think that's a big key on where our camp is having success.
And that's one of the things we learned this year is like we're not as prepared as I think.
It's all
I think we need to
agreed.
be.
All a learning thing. We figured out, some of our stuff. Like we need to go back there, maybe this spring we were talking about, and move some stands around.
Yeah, I'm totally down. Oh, turkey hunting, I love it.
So, yeah, we got some adjustments to make, but it's just fun. The whole experience from beginning to end. I actually found so much joy in prepping stuff. Ideas wearing off, like maybe we set it here, set this here. Just seeing your fruition of labor come into play.
And I think with whitetail, it's so important that you have multiple sets, multiple places that you can sit. And I think that's one of the things we learned this year is we have 8 guys in our camp. And once we kind of started picking the stands and stuff, I think towards the end of the season, we realized that like with 8 guys on this lease, we got to spread out more.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes we're all just too close to each other. And I think it's biting us. Like you can tell these big bucks are changing their habits, like, and doing different things than what we'd seen them doing on the trail cameras once we get into the property.
Yeah.
And so I think spreading out and getting our areas just a lot more dialed to where we can spread people is going to be.
They patterned us, especially the big ones. Yep. They figured out what we were doing within a few days of us being there.
Dude, literally within like a half hour.
And then the other thing I think we learned big time, and shout out to Charlie, who's one of our buddies who lives out there in Ohio, is like, we got to get better food.
For sure.
Like we have to get more food. We got to make our feeders working better, our food plots. We're thinking about doing corn this year, which I'd like to hear some comments for anyone that whitetail hunts about that. Like, we've planted a lot of beans and done clover, but it just seems like every year we just see all those whitetail in the cornfields.
It's all about our timing too. Like when we go in there in August, it's like that's way too late to do our planting. I think the spring is. For sure. That's when planting in the Midwest goes on.
Yeah,
that's going to be a big key on changing our days so we go prepare.
You didn't know he's a farmer.
I'm a Farmer John.
Yep.
Farmer John. Farmer John. All right, so let's talk. I guess let's just dive into the hunt. Let's just dive into it. I mean, we had 8 guys in camp this year at the whitetail lease, and we decided what we were going to do is we had 2 groups of 4, and so we were going to draw cards. How'd we do it? Oh no, group 1 got to pick first, and we just
red
rotated.
Team, blue team.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did red team and blue team, and we just rotated picks. And I think there were some positives and there were some negatives
for sure
to it.
Yeah.
Want to tap off on the negative? Because the negative screwed me.
Yeah, I can think of a negative too. So
we rotated midday, which that needs to change.
Yeah, because it's one of those things like we had the discussion to where it's like, I mean, if a guy wants to sit all day, and I can promise you, and we all know this, that whitetail hunters out there will say specifically during the rut, if you have the opportunity to sit all day, specifically at the time that we were there, that's what we should be doing. And the unfortunate, bitch ya.
Well, and then also like the when I finally got an opportunity at a deer, it was at 11:30.
Yeah,
when we were.
A lot of people were jumping down by then.
Most of us on camp were back at the house, like regenerating, getting warmed up, or getting some food in us, and that was a big learning curve for me too. Is we need if you want to get it done, you have to sit. You just have to power through and sit through.
Yep. Because you think on your cameras, like we have a lot of cameras out there, and this is something I'll shout out another guy that does a podcast, but we have a lot of cameras out there, but we're not covering even close to what like even our field of view and our tree stands are. Like there's deer walking through there that our cameras aren't catching for sure.
Well, yeah, think about how many times like we sat in trees that deer came through that they never were captured. And I mean, that was just in the short amount of time that we were there.
So, and there's a podcast that I listen to, a whitetail podcast. It's called Hunter, Huntr. And it's actually one of John's buddies. I think his name's Jeremy. But they were talking about one of their leases. They had 55 trail cameras on one lease.
But every movement.
And that's what he was saying. He was like, if you want to kill a trophy whitetail, a true big 190, 200-inch deer, you have to know their every move. You have to know exactly what they're doing, when they're moving, where they're
dude,
going,
160.
what they're doing. Like, you just have to know.
Yeah.
No,
That's the only way to know it. I mean, there's no other way to monitor it.
Yeah. So with that being said, John has volunteered at our lease next year. He's going to buy 65 trail cameras.
All Spartan cams.
Yeah, we're gonna
Spartan sponsor us.
We're
He's
gonna be
very
dialed,
kind, man.
We're gonna be. He's so kind, isn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah.
He's
Thanks,
so
John.
kind.
We appreciate
We're
it.
gonna be
Yeah,
dialed
Yeah,
next year, dude.
yeah. I'll pay for that extra bag on your flight. I got you, buddy.
I'm gonna have to buy a whole seat for my
Yeah,
cameras.
Yeah.
With that being said, though, I do think we need to dial in the trail cameras a little bit better next year for sure. Whether that means we all decide to buy new ones or we just get ours a lot more dialed.
For sure.
I think it's a necessary.
I think quality takes a factor in there too.
Yeah.
Of cameras.
I
You
know.
know, not that not dissing the ones we have. They're okay, but
Trigger speeds and everything
the
can be a
trigger
big deal.
speed and just their motion sensors cannot be all up to par as other brands. You know, which is fine. Like if you're gonna buy 60 game cams, maybe not buying a $500 game cam a pop is not the ticket to go. You know.
So what are you buying?
Not 60 Spartan cams, I'll tell you that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. The live ones, all right?
So you like the Spartan?
I'm a huge fan of Spartan. I've had them for probably 6-7 years now, and I've never taken them.
You've had great
What
video.
were ours? Moultries?
Moultries.
And then there's some cutty backs.
Yeah,
Stealth and cutty backs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was Moultries at one point.
I think they're all the same anymore. As far as like when you get to like, I think those lower quality. I think they got them like 3 for $160. I bought a few just because I was like, whatever. I'll throw them out in the woods. They're still sitting in my shop. Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm more excited like about the going and scouting and setting stuff up for whitetail now than I am around here.
Yeah, I put some trail cameras up a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, to try to find some late season elk.
What'd you find?
Well, I haven't checked them.
Oh. I wasn't sure if you had the cell cams.
No, they're where these are at. You
wouldn't have
cell
it.
service.
Yeah.
No. Not getting, dude, I don't hunt like that.
So
This is public land hunting,
Yeah.
bud.
Where are you going?
just don't
Public
do it.
land.
Oh, I know where you're going. Yeah, I know where you're going.
Yeah, public land.
Yeah.
So what happened day one for us?
It sucked for me.
I got to try to remember. So day one,
I watched rabbits and squirrels.
where was I sitting in day one?
I sat in Trump.
Did you see any deer?
I did. I had a bunch of does come in right because we got there
Right.
late in the afternoon. I had to have them come in right at dark, which we had full.
Oh yeah, well, that was day one. Yeah, we didn't. Day
Day
one
one was like
kinda
a
afternoon.
quarter day,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just an afternoon hunt for day one.
The next morning, though.
The next morning is when it was
sucked
like
for
pretty
me.
fire, right? There was a lot of deer moving.
Not for Cliff.
Not
Cliff
for
had
me.
a-
Dude, I had to like John started to feel bad. He's like, oh, yeah, bad. Like, we set you. And John's like he's like, no, you should go to this stand. I'm like, okay, I'll go to it. Yeah, good idea. Because I don't know, dude. I've never been there. And like I don't know if it was you or if it was him that walked me into it. Okay, go get set up and everything. And just the anticipation. Like everybody knows how that is. Like you have huge anticipation, especially when you hear the stories from these two guys. And then everybody there, at camp, it's like, this is so cool. I'm so excited. And then to sit there and see squirrels and rabbits. That was it. That was my excitement. I gotta see your guys' text messages, so I gotta live through you guys.
Yeah, our group chat.
That was your day one.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I saw.
think
I
they-
know I didn't see. I don't think I saw any shooters or anything.
No, I didn't see anything for the fur. I didn't see any shooters. I had little
But
bucks.
they did.
Yeah.
Like Buck was on one.
Yep.
John West had one come right behind him.
Yep.
So we did see some activity on day one, but what we had kind of figured out when the first day we were there is there's something that a lot of whitetail hunters, and again, we're new to it, they call it the lockdown phase. And a lot of these big bucks just get locked down with these does and they're not moving very much. And we think that's what was happening kind of like the first almost 4 days, four days we were there.
Mm-hmm.
Like there just wasn't a lot of bucks moving. We were seeing a few for sure. And one of our guys in camp shot at one.
Yeah.
And missed it. And another guy in camp, day 3, I think, right? Got one?
Yeah, Bob.
That was day 2, I think.
Day
wasn't
2. Yeah, it was day 2.
Yeah.
It was the first full day that we
Yep.
were there.
Yeah.
And that buck, so usually on this lease, guys, we try not to shoot bucks that we think we could be someone.
Yep.
And we don't want to shoot young bucks. We want to try to manage the lease and the farm to have trophy whitetail running around. And so I probably, like, most of the time, those guys would have not let him shoot that deer.
Which for me, being like blacktail hunter, wild, dude, I'd have been, I was like, that's my deer. I'm happy with it. Like I would have taken him all day long.
In the grand scheme of things, that's a super small whitetail.
Yeah. Oh no, after I've seen what I've seen, yeah.
You know, it was a a 4x3, of which would be a 3x4.
It was super tall.
But like, if you're managing, like, because I've done that at my ranch, like that's the genetics that you want to get out. You know, that's a deer that you don't want if he's going to be a fork on that side.
That's a deer that turns into punch bowl.
True.
Fair.
Because that was punch bowl genetics for sure. How it came up and went like this, and it was all super tall. We had a deer a couple years ago that one of our guys killed that we called punch bowl. That just was a freak.
Masher.
Just an absolute freak.
Yeah.
The problem is if you shoot them when they're only like 2.5, 3 years old, you never know what they're going to be.
No.
You just don't know.
And I will say, once you get exposed to this kind of hunting, because again, go back to like, we're surrounded by blacktail. Yeah, you're a different breed. You don't count. So it's like, but once you're around big animals, like, you know what I mean? It's like the first 3-point that I had come in, like, I knew he wasn't a shooter, but I'm like, over here, he'd be filling the freezer, like without a thought. But it's once you see the cameras, you see those pictures of these bigger bucks that are coming, you really change like your whole thought process of how this works.
Well, we have so much time over there too. That's why I was like, when you have 7 to 8 days to hunt, it's like, I don't know, it's just worth going over there and trying to kill a trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what we're going for, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's really at the end of the day. I mean, dude, some of those bucks that Charlie had, dude, you don't get those by shooting the little babies like on the first 3-4 days of your hunt, like, and then what? Go sit for a doe and then have that masher come through. I would be so mad. I'd be so mad.
I would be too. That's why I've been really picky in the last couple of years. I mean, I have videos of ones that I go back and look. I'm like, man, I can't even shoot that one.
Well, and I think what kind of screwed with us a bit, in my honest opinion, is, the owner of this property that we're on, he wanted us to go on a doe.
Yeah.
A doe hunt. Like, he wanted us all to get a doe because there's too many does around the property. So
there's EHD is spreading really bad in Ohio in a couple of the counties that are north and south of us. But like, there's 2 counties that we're in. The one that we're in and then the one adjacent to it doesn't have any EHD, but everyone's worried that it's going to spread into the area. So the owner was like, hey, we want you to kill does this year. Like, kill a doe before you shoot a buck. And we shot a few does.
I think that kind of played a factor in our...
There's a theory on that, and I literally just watched a video on this, is that if you have these does, if you have a bunch of does in an area, yeah, they may be hot, but if they get into the phase to where they lock down again, and those bucks aren't moving, they're not up searching. If they're not up searching, you're never going to see them. So that's, again, I don't know jack about.
My biggest thing was we weren't seeing a bunch of does.
Yeah.
We weren't even seeing any deer. Like, very rare.
There was 2 opportunities.
So that's why I was like, okay, guys, we're not even seeing any deer, and now you're going to go shooting all the does.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make sense to me.
That's where I'm like, we're scaring off the few does that were there.
I mean. And then not even that, we're freaking walking, tramping around the woods and stuff, trying to recover them.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. We had to do it. It doesn't matter. It's the guy's property. Yeah. We have to do it.
Of course.
But.
And on that note, one of us got...
Dude, I'm the doe slayer, son. I don't even care.
Cliff was like set on killing does. He's like, I'm going to kill 3 of them. I have as many doe tags as possible. Slaughter them all. And I was kind of like, why do you want that with me?
What? Well, you guys will hear in other podcasts, if you don't go back and listen, about my elk season. That is why I had a hankering for killing, and that's where I was. I know, but now I don't have that stress.
Whitetail is delicious.
Yeah.
It is good.
Yeah.
It is phenomenal.
Have you eaten any of yours this year?
Which one?
Exactly.
Whitetail.
Exactly, buddy. But I'll share
That's fine.
some.
I don't like shooting does.
Oh, dude, I do. They're delicious.
I like having opportunities at bucks.
That's why I have doe
I
tags.
don't like killing does and ruining all my buck opportunities. How many deer did you see while you were there? How many shooter bucks did you see?
Well, the last day we were there. Well, in the stand?
That sucks for you.
In the stand?
I saw quite a few.
Sucks to suck, nerd.
Maybe if you stopped shooting all the does, you would have seen some shooter bucks.
Freezer filler.
No, yeah, I was going to shoot one too. I was just going to wait for the right opportunity.
For sure. But
I really wanted to wait until like closer to the end to kill it.
I did too.
When you're seeing the bucks you're seeing. But here's my thing though too. That was really the only opportunity the rest of the hunt that I didn't see another like doe that I had an opportunity at.
You could have killed one in dog kennel like freaking first day, second day.
I know, but those were
the ones you kill.
babies.
Buck killed him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Dude, he had that guy has got no
He had
shame.
no qualms.
Dude, he has no shame in his game. He was ready to go. That was because he missed that buck that same morning. That's why he was ready to kill something. Yeah.
Yeah, he was so. The tree that he got was like that. When I was sitting in upper treetops, I'm looking at the picture that he sent. That tree was tiny. Like the picture makes it look bigger than the actual tree was. This deer stepped out and
stood there for it was behind whatever bush or whatever forever is what I heard.
Yeah, it was just it was just a tree. Yeah, there's like a little bush and a tree, and he stepped out, and there's just this little tree about yay wide, and
nailed
He
it.
barely missed it. You can see his arrow too is only like this far into the to this side of the tree.
yeah, it happens.
Yeah, so that was buck. So we had one guy shoot at a shooter buck there on day 2, but no other people shot until Mike did, right? On the second to last day.
Yeah. That was their last sit for them.
We didn't have any other opportunities or shots at shooters.
Are we going to talk about Mike's or what?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That was I mean, well, I mean, we could get to it, or we could because you saw that giant.
Yeah. So one day I sit in what we call lower treetops, and I'm sitting up in the stand, and all of a sudden this nice buck, not a monster, but a nice one, crosses the river. And so I'm like looking at him, and I try to rattle at him to get him to come to us, and he doesn't come. And then all of a sudden, like 15, 20 minutes later, an absolute monster comes across the river. Like 170, 180, I have no idea. Monster. Really, really big. And I rattle, like just barely touch my antlers together, and he doesn't do anything. So then I smash them together like pretty good. And he flips around and runs back.
Not having it. Go on.
Back across the river. And I'm like,
ain't about that fight life.
He's a heartbreak. So then I'm like, I'm getting out of the stand, and I'm going to go sit right by the river where I think they're going to cross and see if this guy comes back. So I did that for the night. And then I'm like, you know what? Nothing happened. Didn't see anything. But I'm like, I'm going to go suffer and do it again in the morning. And it snows.
Yeah, it was cold.
And it was freezing. And I was sitting there on the ground, and it's like 8:40. I had seen like one small buck cross the river, and I was getting super cold, and my butt was starting to hurt. I was sitting like on the ground, had this little stupid pad. And so I'm like, I got to stand up for a second. And it's like 8:40, I think, at this time. And I stand up, and I like stretch, and I get a couple heat warmer things, and I put them because I'm going to sit back down on the heat warmer things.
Yeah.
So I sit back down on those, and then I open another hand warmer, and I literally go, and I'm not being quiet.
They're not quiet to begin with. Yeah.
I open the thing up, and right as I do that, I see a doe on the other side of the river, like run. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, I've been sitting here for 3 hours. And right when I decide to get the hand warmer out. So anyway, I see the doe, it runs to the left. And then I see another doe run to the right. And so then I'm just sitting there like still. And I don't think they've even seen me at this point. I think what had happened is they were running from the buck.
From him.
Because then all of a sudden I see him, and it's the same buck that I saw the night before, the monster. And he like chases the doe to the left, and she circles around and comes to the right. And I try to move, And I didn't realize that this yearling was like right on the riverbank, and it like passed me, like pinned.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm like sitting here with my crossbow. I can't move at all to turn where the buck is. He's coming right, like gonna walk into an opening, but I can't do anything because as soon as I move, this yearling's gonna freaking bust.
Yeah.
Well, at least that's what I thought would have happened. And so he comes to the right, and the doe like runs again, and the yearling turns her head. So the second she turns her head, I go like this, and I get a rest on this little branch that's like coming off the tree. And the buck is standing there, and I can see him in my crosshairs, his head and his neck. And I'm like 3 or 4 times, I'm like, I should just neck shoot him with this crossbow, which is a disaster. That's why I didn't do it. Because that would have been just us tracking a deer and probably never finding it.
Yeah.
So I waited patiently, waiting for him to, because he only needed to take like 2 steps and I would have it was 47 yards shot at his vitals. And I was using a crossbow. So all you crossbow haters out there, I was using a crossbow. And all 3 of us. We'll talk about that after. But he doesn't go slow. He just poof and like takes off running after the doe like Mach 50 and didn't give me another opportunity. Then he was gone.
Which crushes Marlin, because if anybody knows Marlin, you want to talk about patience, it's not your guy.
Hey, who sat in the stand every day longer than anyone?
Dude, you stuck it out, and I give you that one day when my phone said it feels like 8, you were the last one in. And
I was really hoping something was going to cross the freaking river.
Oh, it was so cold that morning.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
It was brutal. And even the next morning, which we'll talk about. But So let's talk a little bit before we get into the last day of the hunt, which is kind of like the fire day.
Yeah.
It's not the last day, but pretty much for a lot of the guys. Let's talk about bows versus crossbows. Because I think, and I want to hear all your guys' opinion in the comments, because, in Washington State where we live, and we're not allowed to use crossbows for literally anything, right?
This year they made it to where you can use it during modern firearm and muzzleloader season. They just changed it.
Interesting.
Yeah, they just changed it.
Oregon's no, yeah.
They've finally
no crossbow in Oregon.
None whatsoever.
Yeah, they've finally done that. Prior to that, I want to say it was like if you were to archery hunt and you had a disabled permit. Minus that, dude, that ain't happening.
So my thing was when I first went out to Ohio, I have a bow and I bow hunted, I've archery elk hunted, I've done cliff same, but I was like, I want to shoot a crossbow because it's cool, and we don't get to do it where we're at in Washington. And a lot of times too, in a lot of these stands and especially ground blinds, like shooting a bow is tough in a lot of the sets that we have.
Yeah.
So even a lot of the guys that come to the camp, they all bring their bows, and most of them hunt with their bows. But a lot of times, depending on what tree stand or ground blind they're in, they're bringing a crossbow.
Yep.
So I want to hear what your guys' opinion is on it. Me and John were talking about it because it seems like, what did you say? I can't remember.
What was it? I'll have to read it. You'll
have to find it. But basically, the 10,000-foot view of it is a lot of times crossbow guys get like made fun of.
Oh yeah.
Like,
and you thought you were like super cool or whatever. You thought you were like king of the hill, and then you go to find out that your buddy's like, no, you're a loser.
I can't remember.
You're a loser because you shoot a crossbow.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. It goes back to back before we could even use mechanicals in this state. Is that you have your traditional archery hunters, and then you have your compound hunters. If you don't want to hunt that way, it's the same reason like. You don't have, if you want to use a rifle, use a rifle. If you want to use a shotgun, whatever you want to, I don't care if you use a rock. Like at the end of the day, we're all out there doing the same thing.
Spears.
Yeah, I'm down for that too. Like I don't even care. We should all support each other in that. Like I'm gonna get on that little soapbox, but not get too far onto it. But we should all support each other in everything we do, because there's a bigger fight that's going on. Like that we can get into another podcast on. With the anti-hunters and everything. And if we're at each other's throats, like.
Yeah, it makes no sense. If a guy wants to shoot a crossbow, you shoot a crossbow. It's still
they're so cool.
Still loves hunting.
Like I don't care who you are. If you have never shot a crossbow and you hate on it, shoot one.
Yep.
Go out and shoot one and tell me that it's not fun.
Marlon invited me on this because he knew that like I archery hunt. So it's like he even said, he's like, I thought you were gonna bring your bow. I looked at it as an opportunity of like, I'm gonna go buy a cool weapon. And that's exactly what I did. And I think they're super cool.
Yeah, they are fun.
Yeah.
They are fun.
They have limitations.
They're so advanced now too.
They are, but you still have to know how to shoot.
Yeah.
Or else you make stupid bonehead mistakes like I do.
It happens.
We'll get into that.
There's nobody that learns more from a hunt season than Marlon. I'll tell you what.
Every year, dude.
Yep.
Last year I messed up on 2 blacktail deer, and this year I messed up on 2 whitetail deer.
It happens.
So, just the reality of it. But yeah, let's hear your guys' comments below for sure. I want to know what you guys have to say about it.
Yeah.
Let's get into the last day now. Well, this is the last day because 2 of the guys, or most of the guys, some of the guys have already left at this point, but 2 of the guys are going to leave in
that night,
basically, is their plan. So I don't think we saw much in the morning.
It was slow.
I saw a little buck. He bedded right by me, like literally 20 yards.
Oh, that's right, a little spike.
And then I ended up seeing one of the guys in camp ended up shooting a doe, and we didn't find it. And she came by camp and hit her like right in the shoulder blade. There was no blood on her, no nothing. I could just tell because she had a little hiccup in her step, but she was getting around just fine. And then he's like, messaged everyone. I said, I'm pretty sure I found that doe. And then he's like, how do you know? I'm like, is it the front left shoulder that you got? He's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's her. But she was fine. Like, she was definitely going to make it. So, but I wasn't going to waste like one of the best days of the hunt because it had just snowed on the ground. You know, the weather cooled off. These bucks were cruising. Like, you could just tell that was the day that they're going to be out moving around. It's cold. And
deer movement definitely changed those days for sure.
And I was like, we're going later next year.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to shoot a doe on probably one of the best buck movement days, period. So I just sat in there and then I moved.
Yeah, and most of the other guys, I think all morning. I think the evening was things got spicy because we started seeing some moving bucks and moving deer. And one of our buddies got an opportunity at a buck that we had been trying to kill. We'd seen it all over our trail cameras a ton. All over our trail cameras. Like hitting all over the lease.
Yeah.
And it sucks because John, it doesn't suck. We're stoked for Mike, but John was actually sitting in that stand for most of the afternoon.
Yeah, it's so when you were sitting on the river and you saw that buck moving around, well, snow had hit the ground, like fresh snow. And so I go on the other side of the river and I'm walking into this trail and I'm like glued to the ground looking at tracks and seeing where stuff's coming out. It's like literally the best time to see this deer movement because you can see exactly where they've been, exactly where they've been going.
Yep.
And I walked and it had to have been the buck you were watching. I mean, his hoof prints were huge, way bigger than every other deer I saw.
See, and this is the crazy part. As I was telling Marlon, I was like, dude, I didn't see any tracks going into that trail when me and Charlie walked past it. So between the time you made it to that stand and like we walked past it, like they were on the road, but there was like I walked a little bit up the trail and I was looking. So by the time like you got there, they had to have come through and circled through there.
Yeah, and so like I followed those tracks, and then we have a stand called Allen's Stand, and I was like, this is just in such a good spot where they're coming and going to a bedding area. And like I walked around, I went past Allen's just to look, like just to see where the tracks were, and it was like they were all buck tracks. Like I didn't see a single doe track.
Yeah, you could tell they were ripping.
It was buck tracks just going right in front of it, and that's when I'm like, I got in there at 11, and I sat there, and I'm like, I'm sitting here all day. I'm gonna sit here all day, and that's where the whole red team, blue team came.
Yeah, because what happened is, guys, we'd you'd get the morning pick first. And then
evening and morning.
Evening, morning. And so it was the guy's evening pick. It wasn't our pick.
Yeah.
And so
his last day too.
And it was his last evening.
Yeah, I was gonna tell Mike's such a good guy. And like I just told in the group chat, I said, I don't care, like as long as somebody is in this stand hunting it, like that's all I care about. If no one's gonna hunt, I was literally gonna stay there all night. And so I was there from 11 to like 4, just a little after 4. Dude. And Mike sits in it for an hour. That buck came right underneath.
Super nice buck, comes in, he hits it. He shoots it a little bit weird, like it's at a really close 5-yard, like downward angle. And he was trying to sneak it in and like hit a lung in the heart. And it turns out he didn't get any of that. And it went in and missed everything and then went to the front shoulder. We tracked it and tracked it and tracked it and tracked it. Till we eventually gave up, and one of our buddies knew a thermal drone guy that we could bring in to help us find the deer.
Epic.
And that guy showed up at what time? Like
11.
Yeah, it was like 11 o'clock. And we find the deer with the drone, and it's jacked. Like you can tell it's bleeding bad. It's hurting. And so we're like, all right, we'll just go back in the morning. We'll get this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't go that next. You guys did.
Yeah, no, we went out in the stands.
I did, yeah. I went the next day.
So you'll have to say what happened because I didn't go.
Yeah, we got on the buck, and if we thought he was going to expire that night, like for sure, like just the way like he was just pumping blood out, like it was a good shot, like by all means. And even Corey's the drone guy's name. Corey was like, dude, that thing is hit so good, like he's gonna be expired by morning. And we waited a while, like 9 or 10 something, like when we left, and there he's up, like going in the brush, and he like was alert and took off, and we chased him all around. I almost got ran over by him. Like he literally came out of trail as the guys were pushing him, and I sat on a road with other John, and this buck just comes barreling at me. I literally just dove into the woods just to get it out of its way.
Linebacker with spike helmet.
You know, he was hurting, so then we eventually Mike got
another good shot at
him and got him down. And
he's a masher buck. I mean, to me, he is like
what is it, like a 16 point?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
15 points on him.
Thing's got points everywhere. Cool little kickers off of him. Split brow tine.
Yeah, super happy for him, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just glad one of us got him because that was fun. I saw him in person one evening through the hunt, right at dark.
Yeah. That's nice,
Yep.
really nice
dude,
buck.
somebody has to get this.
Oh yeah, you saw him feeding out towards the field. Yeah.
So they had just gotten him. It was probably around 11 or something like that.
7:01 is when my fun began. That's when I text you.
Yep.
After that.
Yep.
Yeah. So I had a buck. I got into the stand, and I got in there, got everything situated, and I'm sitting there. My wife texts me. I text her back, so I'm looking at my phone, and then I look up, and I can see just around the corner, you just see his head bobbing and moving and everything. I'm like, no way. Oh, my God, it's going to happen. And he keeps coming, but this is where, like we were talking about whitetail earlier, they are just, I mean, everything's a predator to them. Like a blade of grass, it could be a predator. I don't know. Like, dude, that's how they act, is they are so on edge all the time. And I just felt like he could see right through me in that ground blind. And this is why I think that it didn't help, is because obviously it snowed, and then the sun's coming up, and then you get the reflection off the snow. And I think he caught my movement. And I can admit I was probably moving too fast. And like he stopped, looked at me, and then he just did this kind of, not like he was getting, like for sure saw me, but he was just kind of really uncomfortable, spun, and boogied out. And I text Marlon. I was like, yeah, I just had a buck come in, and he just boogied out. And then that's when you moved.
Yeah, so I was sitting in what we call South River, and I had a buck, 2 little small bucks come in chasing a doe, and I got all excited, and I sat there till about 9. And then it just got dead. And Cliff had told me that buck wrapped around. And a lot of times from what we've seen these deer do, when they go up into where Cliff was, which is what we call snack room, they circle down, and then they come down and they circle back up to the bedding area, which is Tornado.
Mm-hmm.
Through Tornado back up to the bedding area. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get out of South River, and I'm going to walk to Tornado and get in it. So I get down, I walked all the way in there, got into Tornado. I sat there for like, I don't know, hour, 45 minutes. And then I texted you. Me and you were both freezing.
Yeah.
It was like the wind chill was terrible.
Yeah.
Like I was
so cold.
freezing.
Yeah.
And Cliff's like, I don't know how much longer I'm going to sit. And I'm like, yeah, me neither.
Hold on.
I said, let's get down at 11. Oh, no, I said, come get me.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, come get me. And I literally texted him that, and I put my phone back in my bino case, and I look up, and this buck is coming right down the trail that I just walked in on, like right at me.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, oh my gosh. And I grabbed my phone back, and I just texted Cliff, wait.
Yeah, that's what it was. Wait. Yeah.
I just texted him, wait. And the thing came in, and this is what I love about whitetails, like you guys said, is they're so alert.
Yeah.
He came straight in, and it was like he already knew I was there. He just came straight in and just looked at me. And for like what felt like an eternity was just staring at me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he already knows I'm here. I was just sitting there just as still as can be.
Yeah.
Well, then finally he just kind of got comfortable.
Yeah.
And he started kind of like bobbing around and chewing on stuff on the ground. But he was still kind of facing me, wasn't really giving me a shot opportunity. Well, then he puts his head down and starts walking this way. And the second he did that, I grabbed my bow and put a rest on the bar.
Ramp.
And he just needed to take like 3 steps, and he was going to give me a perfect opening. And it was 35 yards or 36 yards. And I touched one off. I thought I had a perfect rest, and I thought I made a really good shot. And I heard my arrow just smash him. And I call you, and I'm like, I call you, and you're like, wait, there's a buck.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude,
Right
I just shot that buck. I'm like, if you can get another arrow in him, shoot him.
Gone.
And then Cliff couldn't get another arrow in him.
Dude, it's like he knew I was there still. Like he literally knew I was still there.
Yeah.
Because he ran up, he stopped, looked right over at me, gone.
So we track the blood. There's lots of blood.
Yeah.
Like he's bleeding out both sides, full pass through the arrow. And he goes really far, like too far for it to be a good shot. So now we're starting to get nervous. Charlie comes over to help us, and we track the blood. We find it, and we're like, you know what? Screw this. Let's call Corey.
Yep.
So we call the thermal drone guy. He's able to come, well, right away, actually, because he had just left Mike getting their deer. So he comes. We figure out basically that the deer had ran all the way across this bean field, and he had gone like 1.5 miles, which is not good. That means he's definitely not hit good at all.
No.
So we get him over there, and we find what we think's the deer. And so Corey's like, that looks like your deer. Me and Cliff were like, yeah, it kind of does look like him. And so we're like, well, let's make a move on him and try to get another arrow in him. And so we have Charlie go around and push him out. And the thing gets up, and it's not my deer. It's clearly not. It's much bigger.
Yeah.
And so we let that thing go, and we're like, crap, what do we do now? So then we start walking the fence line, and Charlie is just a bloodhound, dude. He
even called it. Like he literally called it.
He's so good at finding blood. Well, he finds right where my deer had entered the grass from the tracks and gone into this trail, into the woods with a blood trail. And we find where he had bedded down the first time, and there's just a ton of blood. And I'm like, dude, this thing actually might be dying.
Yeah.
And then we lose it again. We track it for like 1/2 mile, and then it just turns into like trickles, and we can't find the blood again. So we're like, you know what? Screw this. We'll back out. We'll have Corey come back out later tonight, and hopefully we'll find the deer expired. Well, Corey comes out around 9:30, I think, that night or something.
Yeah.
We find the deer.
Immediately.
We find the deer immediately. And the thing about this thermal drone, guys, that makes it so crazy is he gets on the deer, and then he lights it up with a spotlight and turns the camera on, and you can see the deer so freaking good. And that was the unfortunate thing, was you could see my shot, and it was like 5 inches too high, like way too freaking high. And he spun the drone around the whole thing, and you could see the entry and the exit wound. And the deer was bleeding like bad. Like it was definitely leaking a lot of blood out of the exit wound. And so we just decided, you know what? If this thing's laid here all day, it's 9:30 at night, maybe he's going to lay there and die.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just let him lay. I went back the next morning at 7 a.m. right to where he was laying, and he was gone. So I am crossing my fingers and praying that he survived and that he's just hurt a little bit.
You 100. Even Corey said, because Corey, he goes on so many calls. He recovers probably hundreds in a season.
Yeah.
He gets pretty knowledge on shot placement, and even he was like, you had mentioned, you're like, that's the dead zone of that zone of deer is the no kill zone, you know?
Yeah.
It's right above their lungs.
You basically hit what's called the window, guys, and there's a thing in there that if you hit too high and you shoot above their lungs and above everything and
there's nothing there. Yeah.
So really sad way to freaking almost end the season, because then what happened is I went with Charlie. So when we lost the deer, there was after we got done tracking him, there was 1 hour and 45 minutes of daylight left. And so I was like, well, I lost the deer. That sucks. But I can't count myself out. I still got to just try to go hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hang your head high and just try to freaking go for it. So Charlie, who's our buddy out there, invites me to sit in his blind with him. And we're sitting there for an hour. And the funny thing about Charlie, guys, is we got to say this is dude, he just smokes cigarettes like a freaking chimney. He's like the Nick Popoff of hunting.
Yeah.
So much cigarettes.
You can attest
And the
to
whole
that.
time in the ground blind, he's just smoking cigarettes and coughing.
In the ground blind.
And I'm thinking, I'm sitting there freezing because it is like 20 degrees and just, I'm thinking, this is a waste of freaking time. I'm like, why am I even in this stupid freaking ground blind? Cigarette smoke is literally going out of the ground blind and shooting right into the woods where these deer are coming out of. And we're sitting there for like an hour, and here comes this 6-point. Comes right in, goes right to the corn, and Charlie's literally blowing smoke out the window, and the smoke is blowing right into the deer. I'm like, everything I've learned about deer hunting is out the window right now.
Well, smoke is like a natural thing occurring, like wildfires and stuff.
I don't know if tobacco is.
Bro, it's Marble Reds, bro, is a natural occurring thing. I don't think so.
Oh, natural, boys.
Anyway, this deer clearly didn't care. Well, he finally he sits at the corn and eats for a while, and it's like getting dark. It's getting kind of dark, and all of a sudden, this deer gets full alert, and he just bails. And I'm like, that was weird. I'm like, after all the smoke and everything, he just freaking, for no reason, he just bails. And Charlie's like, dude, no, there's a big buck coming. I guarantee it. Like, there's a big buck coming. And then about 2 minutes passes, and Charlie goes, look out in the field. Look out in the field. And you could see this deer zigzagging across the field, and this buck would run, and then stop and look around, and then run, and then stop and look around. And you could just tell he was
That'd have been so cool to see.
You just tell he was a mature buck that knew what he was doing. And Charlie is freaking out because he's like, dude, I've only seen this buck one other time, and he did this exact same thing. He's like, he's coming to the corn. Get ready. He is coming to the corn. And this deer goes in to this thick section of woods, and he loops around, and he comes out and just stands right on the edge of the timber, right off the edge of the ground blind, and just stands there for again, what felt like a freaking eternity, but it was probably 10 minutes. But this deer was waiting for it to get darker before he exposed himself out into the open. And he messed up, and he came out a little too soon. It was still shooting light. Me and Charlie had checked. He comes out into the corn. He's standing there perfectly broadside, 20 yards in this corn. And Charlie goes, dude, I'd take him. That's your shot. And so I get up, and in the way this ground blind is, there's only this little triangle that you can shoot out of. So I get up and I lean out and I pull my scope up and I line my 20-yard pin right on the deer perfectly, and I fire, and the bottom of my fletching hits the bottom of the ground blind and shoots my arrow 20 feet into the air, and the buck goes into the woods.
It was so shitty, but
it's so Marlin, dude.
Yeah, dude, it happens.
And Charlie looks over at me, and I swear his eyes were this big. And he goes, what happened, dude? I swear, just like that. He was blown away that I had just messed up a deer that he'd only seen.
The perfect opportunity.
He'd only seen 2 times.
Yeah.
And it was a really nice 10-point, guys. Just a super mature, the buck you're looking for. Really wide, big, long brow tines. A really mature, probably 5-year buck.
The body size on him, too.
Yeah, a monster body. That's what the biggest thing, when I was telling these guys of the story when I came in, I was freaking out about how big the body was, because he was, no exaggeration, 3 times the size of that other buck that was standing there.
Yeah. His body was massive.
So, yeah, guys, I had 2 opportunities
same day.
In the same day, and messed them both up. So I'm looking forward to whitetail season 2026.
Dude, it just is a
redemption.
Testament to the way you described that buck going across the field, where he just zigzagged and it stopped and just gone. In the one that you were hunting on the river, same thing. They do not want to expose themselves, and that's why they're big.
Yeah.
They're just out of there. They're not letting themselves be exposed because they know that's where danger areas are, and that's why they're big.
Yeah, for sure.
It's proof in the pudding.
My mind just sits here and races of just so many things. Like I said, I mean, this whole whitetail thing, being exposed to it now, kind of one of those things I wish I was never exposed to, because, dude, it's going to become an addiction.
No, it already is for me. The other thing I forgot to tell, too, which you guys know, but so I go look for my deer that next morning after I shot a deer and lost it, and then literally had an opportunity at a huge one. And I go look for my deer, and I go hike around. I'm looking for the deer. Probably takes me an hour. And then I turn around and go start walking back down the trail. And I get to where I'm 10 yards from the truck. And all of a sudden I look up and this huge buck, like bigger than I've seen the entire week. Like other than the monster that was on the river, but like one of the biggest bucks that we have on camera, like it's a big one, is coming, literally walking right to the truck. Like he's probably, I'm ranging, he was 115 yards and he's walking right to the truck. And so I just freeze and he's coming and I'm like, oh my God, dude, I'm going to get a shot at this. And and this is where I messed up because I really wanted to look at him in my binos. And so he's like walking at me and I'm thinking, oh, I'll just grab my binos. He ain't going to see me, you know? And dude, I know such like barely lifted my hand and he had me. He was like, immediately had me. And I'm like, well, now I'm had, so screw it. And I pulled my binos out to look at him and he was huge, dude. His brow tines went up and curved in like this. He was so big, dude.
Think of the view you would have got of him if you didn't move and shot him.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm thinking, all right, well, maybe if I just take 2 steps to the left, I'll hide behind the truck.
He'll ignore this movement.
Yeah. So I take 2 steps to the left and he just goes poof and goes out into the middle of the field. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to run out here and he's going to be in the field. And I run out there and he's already like 300 yards out in the field.
Not like a mule deer.
Gone. Yeah.
The bounce, stop.
No. Dude.
No, and what's crazy is so I watched him in my binos. He never stopped one time. He just poof ran. And then when he got to the edge of the tree line, dude, he got to the tree line and he would run like 20 yards and stop and then look and then run 20 yards and stop and then look and then finally like took his trail into the woods.
They are
like so much more alert and like just
they're on it all the time.
I mean, I don't know if like big blacktail are that way because you just never get to see them.
They are that way. That's why you never kill them.
Yeah, I mean these animals. I mean, you guys even said, giving me the forewarning. It's like, be careful with movement because they will pick you off so quick.
Yep. And
again, I think that's why that morning. And like I say, I can admit, like I was moving a little bit quicker. You know, it wasn't like the slow movement because he was coming quick, and I want to make sure that I was ready. It was like I'm kind of moving like this, you know. I'm like, okay, and it was too late. Like that was it.
So normally, what I've done, and like what you see when I've told you the stories, like, is I just wait for them to turn or do something to where I can move.
Yeah, he was just coming straight in at me, and just I'm sure if I would have just let him get behind the feeder and hide his head. And just moved quickly then, I may have got him off.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You always replay the scenarios in your head a million times. It's like, oh, man, if you would have just been 2 inches higher with your crossbow, you'd have a giant 10-point.
Yeah.
2 inches, dude. That's all it was.
Not even.
Yeah, probably not even. Literally, the bottom of my arrow just hit
the fletching, yeah.
I think we're, like we were saying earlier, like going in a later time because they weren't even like full rotten.
No.
And that's when they're going to make their biggest mistakes. They're like got one thing on their mind and one thing only, and that's when they're like their normal procedures that they go through of zigzag and stop, running, not doing. That's where they just throw that out the window.
We had a bunch of wind this year too.
Yeah,
which, dude, we have not had that in years previous, which is why I think the deer movement was so bad.
For sure.
Because they do, when it's super windy like that, dude, they don't like to move because they can't hear anything.
We had gusts of, like, keep in mind, this gusts
35,
of 40 mile an hour gusts, you know, sustained of 13. Like, it was loud in the woods. I mean, and for me, like.
Dude, I know that messed up the movement.
Yeah, it has to.
It had to have.
And keeps them that much more on edge. Like, they can't monitor any predators or anything at that point. Like, so it's pins and needles everywhere.
So, question for each of you to answer individually as we start to end this podcast because we're getting here to the end of it. What are 2 things, what are 2 things that you're going to do differently next year?
Number 1, those like 2,500 gram thin slate boots, number 1. And number 2 is going to be.
So number 1, he's going to make sure he's a lot better prepared with gear.
Yeah, because it was definitely one that I was not prepared for.
Okay.
And then I think with this spring in moving stands to different locations and finding those travel corridors like we talked about.
More stands, more preparedness, more food.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2. Okay. John, you can't do the same ones.
Sitting in the stand midday.
Yep. Longer sits,
like that's totally screwed us.
Changing.
Yeah. And, I think spreading out, having everybody spread out more.
Keep the distance.
Keep the wind. Keep your scents away from each other. Just like get farther away from other people.
Yeah.
I want to be a lot more comfortable with my crossbow. Like missing that deer at 36 yards should have never happened.
Right.
Like that's the shot that all of us are sitting in those tree stands for all freaking week. And then it presents itself and I miss. That shouldn't happen with a crossbow. So that's definitely number one I'm going to do. Like I'm going to be shooting that thing and making sure I'm a lot more comfortable with it. And especially with angles and stuff, like I'm probably going to invest in either one of those crazy scopes, which I might just say screw it and put a $4,000 scope.
The Oracle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to miss, dude. You put all this money, all this work, and all this time into it, and then you freaking make a stupid 5-inch high shot. It's just,
yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how much money I have by next year. So that's number one, and then I think number two is the biggest thing for me. I was gonna say sit longer because you screwed me on that one, but. I think the biggest thing for me is I need to not let what everyone else is doing like affect my decisions. Because too many times, like I was like dictating where I was going to sit because I was frustrated about what other people were doing or whatever, and I'm just not going to do that next year. Like I'm just going to sit where I want to sit.
Just be like me, bro. Just everyone pick, and I'll take what's left.
Yeah,
I was happy with it. I was tired of making decisions on stands.
I feel that was a big thing. Like the amount of decisions.
Yeah, well, we're doing it completely different next year, so you're not going to be able to do that.
No, I like that idea.
Because we're going to rotate every day. So like in group, in blue team group and red team group, we'll also be tracking our stands. So like on day one, you'll get first pick in our group.
Yeah.
But then in day two, I'll get first pick in our group and then so forth.
Yep.
So, or what me and John talked about is just drawing cards every day to make it fun. So then some guy might get first pick fucking 3 days in a row. But if he gets first pick, that's how it goes, dude. Luck of the draw. Got to be luckier.
The beauty is, though,
we should
the
play
rut,
a
it's
poker
unpredictable.
Game. Poker game, first place to last place, winner gets first pick. And then
I'd beat every one of you every night.
I was going to say that's stupid because I'd be like all in first hand, like not even care because I hate poker. Like I don't have, that's what's so crazy is you have the patience to play that, but your patience level with everything, like, I mean, you did good with that buck. You didn't take that next shot. So I have to give you that one. That's for sure.
Oh, I thought about it.
Yeah.
I even had my safety off at one point.
That little devil was on your shoulder, just like, do it.
Just like John had it. We had this huge 8-point, this super big wide 8-point that we wanted to kill really bad. And John saw it one day, and he could have taken a Texas heart shot, and he didn't.
Willpower.
I would have smoked that.
Texas would have been proud of me.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it.
Back of the head.
There goes the next shot.
Oh, just kidding, guys. All right, everyone. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate all you. Don't forget, please drop some comments, thumbs up the videos, interact, share this out there with your family and friends. We have a ton of these more podcasts coming. And we have a link down below to all of our hunting videos if you want to see any of the hunting that we're doing. We are trying to film some of that as well throughout the year, guys. So until next time, see you guys out there.
No, we're not. Looks super cool when you do it. Yeah.
And so, like, every time it's like panic. Like,
but yeah, all those mountain bucks that nobody ever sees, like, those are the ones you want to get.
You could just see his face and his antlers. And, dude,
They don't get huge like the ones that you have over there for, just being stupid and hanging out.
I am just not a good enough hunter.